Have you ever wondered what the lines on the palm of your hand mean? Even though they have always been there, almost none of us have ever wondered if these lines could have a meaning. Often, these lines form a sign or a letter, for example, the letter M, which has a particular meaning from a spiritual point of view. Maybe you've never noticed it, maybe because you don't believe in the concept of palmistry, but if you have the letter M on your hand, it means something specific. But what does the letter M on the palm of your hand really mean? In this Zen story, thanks to the Buddhist monks and their wisdom, we would better understand the meaning of this thing. So, make yourself comfortable and stay with us until the end of the video because you are about to hear a story that will surely leave you speechless. But before starting, remember to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. This way you will always stay updated when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. In a Buddhist temple in a remote village in Japan, there lived an elderly Buddhist monk named Kema, well known in the village for his wisdom. One day, the monk called his disciples to whom he said, "My children, have you ever had the feeling that the universe was giving you signals that made you reflect on your destiny? And have you ever had the impression that your destiny, or at least what we call that, held something unique and special in store for you?" The disciples, shocked by the question, nodded, thinking that they had actually perceived these sensations over time. Try to imagine entering a very specific place and feeling that your own energy is being absorbed, as if the environment around you was taking away a large part of your vital energy, continued the monk. As if it were a shiver down your spine, this is the feeling that leads you to change your trajectory, cancel your plans, or follow others. Just like when, at the last moment, something happens that will make you change your path. The disciples exchanged questioning glances, but Master Kema continued without giving them time to answer or ask questions. His intent was to make them think, but also not to distract them from his words. And then there is that strange and enigmatic symbol marked in your hands, the letter M. Those of you who own it know exactly what I'm talking about. One of the disciples raised his hand timidly. "Master, I have the letter M in the palm of my hand, and hearing about it for some time, I have always wondered what it meant with a certain anxiety." Another disciple added, "I also have the M on the palm of my hand, and they told me that it would be a sign that we are destined to live less than others. But how are things really?" Kema smiled, a compassionate smile that seemed to light up the night itself. "Well, get ready to decipher the secrets that destiny has in store for you. Welcome to the mystery of the letter M." With seraphic grace, the monk told them the parable of a traveler whose deeds were guided by a star in the shape of an M that illuminated the sky. That star was a light that illuminated his path, and it was as if it also illuminated his very soul, leading him through the mystery that enveloped the world. "Imagine," said the old monk, "that you are like that traveler, with the letter M engraved in the palm of your hand. It is like having a secret map of the universe, an inner guide that pushes you towards your destination. But this map won't just take you to physical locations. It will lead you towards your true essence, towards your spiritual mission, towards gestures and events that will change your life." The disciples listened with extreme attention, eager to discover more about the meaning of that mysterious letter that fascinated and disturbed all those who carried it in the palm of their hand. Those who carry the letter M on the palm of their hand can display incredible inner strength. Kema continued, "These individuals are often natural leaders, capable of inspiring and influencing those around them. Their energy is magnetic, and they attract others to them like the stars are attracted to the moon. Sometimes they are political leaders or business captains. Other times, simply good people who know how to illuminate the path of those around them. For example, particularly charismatic parents, teachers, doctors." And in the spiritual world, he added, "The bearers of the letter M are true custodians of ancient secrets. They are in tune with the higher energies of the universe, capable of discerning hidden truths and guiding others towards the light." The disciples listened with growing amazement, feeling part of something bigger than themselves. Those who had the letter M printed on their hand began to feel good. The others began to feel respect for their companions. However, Kema warned, with the power of the letter M also comes great responsibility. You must use your gift with wisdom and compassion, or you risk being overwhelmed by the dark forces that lurk in the shadows. As the fireplace crackled gently, Master Kema urged his disciples to cultivate their connection with the letter M, to explore its mysteries with humility and gratitude, and to feel privileged. And remember, the monk said in a solemn tone that your letter M is unique, as is your path. There is no one else like you, and no one can carry out your spiritual mission except yourself. The disciples nodded, feeling a new determination burning in their hearts. With the guidance of the wise monk, they were ready to explore the mysteries of the letter M and discover their true purpose in the universe. And so, in the tranquil Buddhist temple, the light of knowledge burned brightly as the disciples embraced their destiny with hope and confidence, ready to embark on a journey of discovery and transformation under Kima's loving guidance. Majestically, Kama slowly stood up, his figure bathed in a divine light that seemed to emanate from his very essence. Now that you have understood the meaning of the letter M on the palm of your hand, he said in a grave but hopeful voice, it's time to explore its power and wisdom more deeply. The disciples approached him, eager to learn more. Look, Kama said, pointing to the twinkling stars in the night sky. As the stars move harmoniously in the vast universe, so you too, with your letter M, are called to move harmoniously. Every decision you make is a universal dance between your free will and divine design. Every decision you make has to do not just with your reality, but with that of those you love and the universe itself. A disciple raised his hand. Master, how can we be sure that we are following the right path? How can we make sure that this privilege is not in vain? Elder Kima smiled, the wisdom in his eyes shining like an eternal flame. Listen to your heart, he said. Your letter M is like an inner compass, always ready to show you the way. But remember, the master continued, that your journey will not be without challenges and difficulties. Dark forces will try to divert you from your path, but with the light of your letter M as your guide, you will be able to overcome every obstacle and emerge stronger and wiser than before. Another disciple raised her hand. Master, what if we don't have the letter M in the palm of our hand? Kama paused for a moment, contemplating the question with deep thought. Even if you don't physically possess the letter M, you can still access its wisdom and power, he finally replied. True strength lies within you, regardless of external physical characteristics. Find your center, listen to your inner voice, and you will be guided towards your spiritual realization. The disciples looked at each other with a new sense of understanding and acceptance. Kima, looking at the starry sky, and with a deep breath, added, whether you bear the letter M or not, he said solemnly, always remember that you are an integral part of the great mosaic of the universe. Each individual, with their own uniqueness and beauty, contributes to the fabric of life. May your journey be illuminated by the light of wisdom and love, and may you find your true essence and inner growth. With these words, Kima closed his eyes and the disciples looked at him in silence, feeling the depth of his message vibrate in the surrounding air. Time seemed to slow down, as if the universe itself had stopped to listen to the words of the wise monk. And now, the master said in a clear voice, let us move forward on our journey of discovery and spiritual realization. May the light of our letter M, whether visible or not, always guide us towards our true essence and our highest destiny. Have you ever tried putting salt in your shoes? It seems like a very strange question, but putting salt in your shoes is nothing more than an ancient Buddhist practice. Salt, in addition to being known and appreciated in the kitchen for flavoring foods, is also a precious ally in domestic cleaning as it helps to clean and cleanse. Salt, in addition to being known and appreciated in the kitchen for flavoring foods, is also a precious ally in domestic cleaning as it helps to clean and cleanse. Furthermore, in the form of a saline solution, it also acts as a disinfectant for wounds and abrasions. Not to mention the numerous uses in the cosmetics fields, such as exfoliating scrubs or bath salt. And we can continue with these examples forever, but that's not what we want to talk to you about today. What few know, in fact, is the precious use that Buddhists have made of it for centuries, putting it in their shoes, a practice that takes on an important meaning both on a medical and spiritual level. But what is it? You can find out in the story we are about to tell you, where you will learn about the 5 main reasons why you too should start putting salt in your shoes. So stay with us until the end, because what you will discover at the end of this video will impact you deeply, probably to the point of leaving you speechless. But above all, it will teach you an important lesson that you can learn from. We are in the heart of a valley. Imagine it surrounded by the mystical atmosphere of the Japanese mountains. Here stands an ancient Buddhist monastery where, for centuries, wisdom has been preserved and offered refuge to all those seeking inner peace. Here, where time seems to have stopped, the elderly monk Makoto, a great wise guardian of Buddhist traditions and the incredible history of Oriental medicine, had found his home. It's a sunny morning. The rays filtered through the branches of the trees, and there was an air of peace. Makoto, as always happened, called his disciples into the monastery cloister to begin one of his lessons. He invited them to sit in a circle around him. The silence was deep, and they were all waiting for his precious words. He looked at them with a serene expression before he began to speak in a warm, reassuring voice. You must imagine life as a path to travel, and every step taken as a journey from which to learn, a journey that inevitably leads us to knowledge of ourselves and the universe that surrounds us. The journey is long and tiring, but it is necessary. There are no shortcuts. It cannot be done otherwise. It is fundamental because it teaches us that in our earthly experience, we must be ready to face the challenges that are placed before us. The first words of this Buddhist story told by the sage enraptured the disciples, and at the exact moment in which Master Makoto spoke about the ancient custom of putting salt in shoes, they were amazed to listen to this very mysterious tradition. It is a practice, continued Makoto, that has its roots in the past, in the times of our ancestors when they still lived in the wild lands. Salt, at that time, was a precious commodity, symbol of purity and protection. The senior monk took a moment to pause. He wanted to make his brothers reflect and wait until what was said could settle in their minds. Only when the time was right did he continue. I would now like to explain to you the 5 main reasons why the practice of putting salt in your shoes has become so important and meaningful within our spiritual path and for our general well-being. Let's start with the first, said the wise monk. Salt has always been known for its extraordinary power to absorb humidity. Likewise, Buddha was able to absorb the suffering of the world. When we put salt in our shoes, therefore, it is as if we make our steps lighter and more agile. A true metaphor of the steps that we must constantly take on the path of our spirituality. You should know that in Buddhist practice, humidity is often associated with the sense of heaviness left by the worries and sufferings that normally become part of our lives and that we very often tend to carry with us. We can compare them to water. If there is too much of it and we find ourselves with wet shoes, we will feel slowed down and weighed down. Likewise, fears and tensions can slow down our progress on the path of inner growth. The salt in the shoes represents, therefore, the desire to free ourselves from a burden, to let go of what worries us and everything that lowers our energy, but at the same time, the will and desire to maintain lightness of spirit. As moisture is absorbed, so too are worries absorbed, allowing steps to be more fluid and us to regain mental well-being and emotional balance more quickly. Makoto wanted to tell his disciples a story that strengthened what had already been said, and that could leave an impression on them with this first fundamental reason, as simple as it was not obvious. The story was about an old fisherman who found himself facing a storm. The man had managed to save his boat from breaking thanks to a pack of salt that he had available and which had managed to absorb the water. Now let's talk about the second reason why you should put salt in your shoes. The answer lies in its purifying power. Salt incorporates impurities and purifies our way, freeing it from harmful influences and obstacles to our personal growth. Putting salt in our shoes protects our mind and our spirit from the outside world, from the temptations and deceptions that we face every day, and which can undermine our inner growth. Also, to explain and make his disciples understand this point better, Makoto wanted to tell the story of a traveler who, during his journey, found himself having to cross a river. This was infested with evil spirits, and thanks to the salt he had put in his shoes, he managed to cross the river without suffering any harm because he was protecting his mind and spirit from negative influences. The sage Makoto continued, "The third reason is that salt is important for maintaining balance. It helps us to root ourselves to the earth and, like trees, to remain anchored when we are hit by storms. Just as the mountains surrounding the monastery are not affected by the attacks of the storms that hit them, we too must maintain our spirituality and our inner stability in the face of life's challenges." Putting salt in your shoes also wants to symbolize this balance. It wants to be an anchor for every single step we take on the path of life, preventing us from falling and hurting ourselves. It is necessary to do a spiritual search so that we can feel more solid and rooted with the earth, so as not to forget the deep connection we have with it. We are superficial if we think that this only concerns the body. Equally involved are the mind and the spirit, fundamental components in our inner growth to find the right balance between the different dimensions of our existence. Work and rest, action and planning, good and evil, happiness and disappointment. We cannot fully experience these feelings in moments if we do not also experience their opposite. To practice the right, we must have experienced the wrong. If we manage to maintain this balance, the challenges that life offers us will no longer have secrets, and the path towards our spiritual search will be smoother and will be lived with serenity and determination. We must not be influenced by ups and downs. It is normal that they exist. What we need to do is practice and live wisely. The disciples began to understand why salt had taken on all this importance in tradition. Makoto, once again, wanted to make this teaching clearer, and this time chose to use as an example the story of a young monk who was meditating on the bank of a stormy mountain stream. This monk had found the perfect balance thanks to the salt he had brought with him. Makoto went on to explain the fourth reason. Salt has healing properties and has always been used in Oriental medicine, where it was considered a natural remedy to relieve pain and tension of various kinds. Putting salt in your shoes in this regard can make a great contribution to alleviating various types of physical ailments, but also mental ones that can pose obstacles along our spiritual path. Here too, the monk wanted to share a story. This one was about a farmer who was in great pain caused by a wound he had sustained under his foot. Makoto then continued with the fifth reason. Putting salt in your shoes is a gesture of gratitude. Salt is a precious gift from the earth and must be used with awareness, remembering to be grateful for everything that life offers us. The disciples continued to listen to those words, grasping their full meaning. But Makoto was not yet finished with his teachings. My dears, there is a reason linked to this practice that I wanted to leave for last precisely because of its importance. Putting salt in your shoes represents a rite of passage. This connects us to our past generations and all those people. None of the disciples had thought of it, so they were speechless as they finally understood the depth of this seemingly simple gesture. For Makoto, salt in shoes was not just an ancient practice, but a connection with humanity and all the lives that have passed through it.
What would it be like to discover the secret to longevity and grow old while maintaining optimal health and impeccable emotional balance? Have you ever heard about how in some areas of Japan people live much longer than in the rest of the world? But is it really possible that there is an elixir for a long life full of vitality? An elixir that slows down old age and offers benefits to both the body and the spirit? If you are asking yourself these questions, then you are in the right place. Thanks to the Zen story that you will hear shortly, in fact, you will discover that the Japanese remain young and vital for many years thanks to 8 specific foods. But what are the 8 foods that help you not to age, according to the wisdom and experience of Buddhists and Japanese? If you want to find out, stay until the end. Also because only in this way will you be able to fully grasp the wisdom shared by the monk Doi and bring with you the light of a longer life characterized by inner growth. In the heart of an ancient Japanese monastery, surrounded by mountains shrouded in morning mist, disciples gathered around the venerable monk Doi. With his eyes radiating wisdom, he was preparing to unlock the secrets of longevity, the same ones that had allowed him and many other monks of his monastery to reach an advanced age in full health. The monk Doi, addressing everyone with a broad smile, began his lesson by underlining how the things he would talk about had also been confirmed by medical research. Dear disciples, the most beautiful thing is when the information that arises from the most ancient Buddhist wisdom is, over the centuries, confirmed by the research of scientists. Today, I will talk to you about foods that extend life, but not only that. By listening to me carefully, you will discover that there is always a connection between the body and the spirit. And that, if you want to achieve mental well-being and inner peace, you must give importance to my words. The first food Doi talked about was fish, which is the most important food in the Japanese diet. Fish is a valuable source of high-quality protein and omega-3 fatty acids, he said wisely. These nutrients are essential for heart, brain, and joint health. Therefore, regular consumption of fish can reduce the risk of heart disease, improve cognitive function, and promote overall well-being of the body and mind. The monk told stories of Japanese fishermen who, by eating a diet rich in fish, lived long and healthy lives, maintaining mental clarity into old age. He explained how fresh fish, rich in omega-3, was a precious ally in the fight against inflammation and oxidative stress, thus reducing the risk of chronic diseases and improving quality of life. In addition to fish, brown rice is another key to longevity in the Japanese diet, the monk continued. Brown rice is rich in fiber, B vitamins, and minerals. These nutrients support digestion, regulate blood sugar levels, and provide constant energy. Eating brown rice can help maintain a healthy weight, prevent chronic disease, and promote overall health. The monk told stories of Japanese farmers who, thanks to their diet based on brown rice, maintained their strength and vitality even into old age. And he explained how brown rice, being less refined than white rice, retained its nutrients intact, offering a sustainable source of energy and contributing to intestinal and cardiac health. Seaweed is an extraordinary source of unique nutrients, the monk continued. Rich in iodine, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, seaweed supports thyroid function, reduces inflammation, protects cells from damage, and promotes heart and brain health. Consuming seaweed regularly can improve overall health and promote longevity. This is why, in Japanese dishes, these are practically never missing. The monk, continuing to talk about seaweed, shared stories of Japanese fishermen who, thanks to their daily consumption, maintained the strength and resistance they needed in the open sea. He explained how seaweed was a concentrated source of essential nutrients, providing invaluable support for the thyroid, immune system, and overall health. Among drinks, green tea is a true treasure for health, said the monk serenely. Rich in polyphenols, catechins, and other nutrients, green tea has powerful antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and calming properties. Drinking green tea can protect the heart, improve brain function, promote weight loss, and reduce the risk of cancer. Also, remember that it is a drink that nourishes both the body and the spirit. The monk shared stories of ancient Japanese monks who, through the practice of green tea, achieved a state of inner calm and mental clarity during their long meditations. He explained how green tea, in addition to its physical benefits, was also a vehicle for spiritual transformation, encouraging awareness and mindfulness. Another important component of the Japanese diet is tofu, the monk stated. Tofu is an excellent source of plant proteins, minerals, and phytonutrients. Eating tofu can reduce cholesterol, protect against heart disease, support bone health, and prevent osteoporosis. It is a versatile and nutritious food, which contributes to longevity and general well-being. And to better understand the importance of this food, Doi told stories of monks who, thanks to its regular consumption, maintained their strength and agility even into old age. Thanks to tofu, be continued, many monks I know are able to dedicate themselves to spiritual practices with vigor and dedication. Know that tofu, being a complete source of plant protein, is an important resource for muscle health, tissue repair, and maintaining a strong and healthy immune system. Have you ever wondered why fermented vegetables, such as kimchi and miso, are an integral part of the traditional Japanese diet? The monk asked rhetorically. These fermented foods are rich in probiotics, enzymes, and nutrients beneficial for gut health and the immune system. Therefore, consuming fermented vegetables can improve digestion, reduce inflammation in the body, increase nutrient absorption, and promote general health. The monk shared stories of monks who, thanks to regular consumption of fermented vegetables, maintained their vitality and stamina even in challenging environments such as the Japanese mountains. He explained how fermented vegetables were a natural source of gut health and how their consumption was associated with better digestion, glowing skin, and truly robust immunity. Another food that has extraordinary qualities is natto, added Doi. It is a unique and nutritious food that is much loved in Japan because it is rich in proteins, fiber, vitamins, minerals, and probiotics. This fermented food aids digestion, reduces the risk of heart disease, supports bone health, and may contribute to healthy skin. Eating natto regularly can be an important habit for promoting longevity and well-being. A disciple from Europe, having never heard of this food, asked the monk what it was. Natto is a traditional Japanese food made of soybeans fermented with specific bacteria, Doi replied. During the fermentation process, soybeans become sticky and develop a very strong characteristic aroma. Natto is often eaten as a seasoning for rice or as an ingredient in various Japanese dishes. It is particularly known for its high content of proteins, fiber, vitamins, and minerals, as well as the presence of probiotics, which promote intestinal health. Natto is a nutritious and healthful food and is prized for its health benefits, including those related to longevity. Speaking of this food, the monk told stories of elderly Japanese who, thanks to its regular consumption, maintained their vitality and resistance, overcoming the obstacles of old age with grace and strength. He explained how this food, with its richness of nutrients and probiotics, could support digestive health, bone density, and even skin health. And he added that, in addition to its physical benefits, natto is famous because it gives greater vitality and mental clarity, allowing those who eat it to face life with resilience and wisdom. While the disciples were very interested in the topics they were hearing, Master Doi looked at them with a smile and an expression of profound serenity, transmitting a message that resonated in the hearts of each of them. Remember, he said in a calm voice, that nutrition is only part of the path to longevity and health. We must not neglect the spiritual aspects that play a vital role in our well-being. Meditation, continued the monk, helps us cultivate inner calm and mental clarity, allowing us to face life's challenges with balance and wisdom. And gratitude opens us to the gift of life and makes us aware of the wonders that surround us every day. Have you ever heard of the meaning of the number 888 and its spiritual importance? For many, it is an angelic number, a portal to luck and prosperity. The certain thing is that for all religions, this number has links with spirituality and with the divine that is in each of us. And it is said that if you write the number 888 on a sheet of paper and put it under your pillow, you can transform your life. By doing so, in fact, you will be able to attract prosperity, serenity, and inner peace. But how are things really? Make yourself comfortable and stay until the end of the video, because at the end of this Zen story you will find an answer to this fascinating mystery. And also, you will learn about the power of the number 888 and how to use it to attract what you want into your life. But before continuing, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. This way, you will be notified when we publish new content for your spiritual growth. The sun sank lazily on the horizon, painting the sky with fiery shades that danced on the rocks like tongues of fire, the elderly and wise monk Kato is about to reveal something unique to his disciples. Around the crackling fire, Kaido's disciples anxiously awaited the words of the Buddhist monk. They knew that, once again, their mentor would amaze them with extraordinary revelations. Kaido, with his calm and persuasive voice, began to narrate an ancient story, one of those capable of opening the mind and leaving a profound mark in the hearts of each of them. In the mists of time, began the monk, a mystical number emerged from the depths of the universe, 888. Since then, its energy permeates creation, bringing abundance, prosperity, and balance. Like a rushing river that fuels life, this number brings with it the promise of a bright future, a future full of joy and fulfillment. The monk bent down, picking up a small sheet of snow-white paper. With precise and delicate gestures, he traced the number 888 in golden ink. His calligraphy, as fluid as a mountain waterfall pouring down the valley, seemed to leave a mark in the minds of the disciples. This symbol, he explained in a soft voice, contains an ancestral force capable of attracting positivity into your life like a magnet attracts iron. Think of this number as a talisman that brings good luck, a bridge that connects heaven and earth, a portal that will lead you to a world of wonders. The disciples listened in silence, enraptured by the Master's words. Their eyes shone with curiosity and hope, like stars lighting up in the night sky. 888 is more than just a number, Kato continued, his voice vibrant with wisdom. It is a key that opens the door to the unlimited potential of the universe. And consequently, if we know how to interpret certain messages well, to the unlimited potential that lies within each of us. Like a magical portal leading to a world of wonders, this number will allow you to access an infinite reserve of energy and wisdom, an inexhaustible source of inspiration and inner strength. One of the younger disciples, eager to know more, asked, "Master Kato, how can this number open the doors of prosperity and inner peace for us?" The monk, looking at everyone with a broad smile, invited them to write the number 888 on a sheet of white paper, using golden or red ink, symbols of prosperity and luck. The sheet then had to be placed under the pillow before going to bed, like a hidden treasure waiting to be revealed. While you sleep, Kaito whispered in a firm voice, your mind will open like a flower in the sun, and the energy of 888 will flow through you, purifying your spirit and preparing you to receive new gifts from the universe. It will be like a rain of blessings falling on the thirsty earth. Dreams will transform into prophecies, intuitions into flashes of genius, and synchronicities into invisible guides that will lead you to your highest destiny. The disciples nodded, and with their hearts full of hope and the paper with the number 888 clutched in their hands, they headed towards their rooms. The ritual that Kato had spoken about had affected them deeply, and they couldn't wait to carry it out with all the trust and faith they were capable of. In the quiet of the night, the disciples retreated to their rooms, lulled by the singing of the nocturnal birds and the rustling of the leaves. The paper with the number 888 rested under their pillows, like a precious talisman that emanated a subtle and vibrant energy. And that night, a very strange thing happened. Everyone dreamed of something, and the dreams became vivid and colorful, full of symbols and mysterious messages to interpret and use as maps for one's happiness. Upon awakening, the disciples felt transformed, as if a cool breeze had swept away the clouds of their minds. A sense of renewed energy and profound inner peace pervaded their being, like a wave of positivity that enveloped and intoxicated them. Over the next few days, surprising events began to manifest in their lives. new opportunities knocked on their doors, like flowers blooming at dawn. Unexpected encounters illuminated their path, like lighthouses in the night indicating the route. Fortunate coincidences led them towards the realization of their dearest dreams, like shooting stars that grant wishes. The disciples, amazed and happy at these events and this transformation, went to Kaido to thank him and to ask to know more about the number 888. The wise monk, with a benevolent smile, invited them to sit around the fire, which crackled brightly like a beating heart that united them under the same roof. 888 is an angelic number, Kaido explained, his voice vibrant with wisdom. It is a message sent by our spiritual guardians, a precious gift that infuses our lives with hope, love, and protection. Like a lighthouse in the night, this number guides us towards our highest destiny, illuminating the path ahead with its golden light. In Buddhism, the number 8 represents the Eightfold Path, or the path that leads to enlightenment. And the 888 is seen as a symbol of spiritual perfection and awakening, a symbol to be respected, and thanks to which one can find one's path in life. Master Kaido asked the disciple, "Is it true that this number is also important for other religions?" The monk, smiling, replied that in the Christian tradition, the number 888 is associated with Jesus Christ, because in Greek, the name of Jesus has this same numerical value. And for this reason, it is seen as a symbol of redemption, salvation, and eternal life. Kaido told stories of angels and spiritual guides who, through this issue, had offered their help to people in difficulty. He talked about how this number was often present in prophetic dreams, sudden intuitions, and surprising synchronicities, like an invisible thread that weaves the fabric of our destiny. The 888 is a symbol of balance and harmony, continued Kaido. Like a bridge that connects heaven and earth, this number helps us find the right balance between our spiritual aspirations and our material needs. It is an invitation to live a life full of meaning, in which external prosperity is accompanied by internal growth, giving us emotional balance and mental well-being. While the disciples listened with great interest, and their hearts were grateful to their mentor for the wisdom he imparted to them, the monk taught them how to meditate on the number 888. Thinking about this number, my dears, visualize how a golden light flows through your body and purifies your soul. And pay attention to the signs and synchronicities that manifest themselves in your life, recognizing them as messages from the universe that guide you towards your destiny. The disciples, with hearts full of gratitude, from that day continued to constantly practice the ritual of the number 888 and meditate on it. Their life turned into a journey of discovery and joy, where every day was a new chapter in a wonderful story. The numbers danced before their eyes, like notes of celestial music that invited them to follow the rhythm of the universe. And their lives, despite the challenges and tests to which they were subjected, continued in the name of trust, faith, and perseverance. Challenges are like stones that help us build the path of our life, Kaido had told him during his lessons. Do not be afraid of falling, because it is only by falling that you learn to get up. The 888 is with you. You just need to open your heart to feel its energy. The most difficult test was for Akiko, a young disciple with a pure heart and a kind soul. A sudden fire destroyed her house, leaving her with nothing. Akiko was disheartened and cried desperately, believing that the universe had abandoned her to her fate. Kaido took her hand and led her to the top of a hill overlooking the valley. The sun was rising, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. Look, he said, pointing to the breathtaking view. The universe has not abandoned you. It has given you this test to make you emerge like a phoenix from the ashes. Remember that the 888 is with you. Have faith, and your inner strength will guide you despite adversity. Akiko watched the sun rise and felt a new strength rising within her. The monk's words gave her the hope and determination to rebuild her life. With the help of his fellow disciples and the community, he built a new house, more beautiful and more resistant than the previous one. After overcoming various tests and challenges, the disciples felt transformed. They had acquired a new awareness of themselves and their place in the world. One day, Kaito gathered them together again and asked them, "What have you learned from all this?" The disciples, moved and aware, recounted their experiences. They had learned that true wealth is not in material things, but in inner strength, love, and compassion. And that the number 888 is not a magical lucky charm, but a symbol of their unlimited potential. And again, that the key to a happy and fulfilling life is to trust your intuition and live in harmony with yourself and the universe. Master Kaito looked at them with pride and greeted them with these words, "Now you are ready to spread your light in the world. Use your wisdom to help others and to create a better world."
Have you ever woken up between 3 and 5 in the morning? Of course, there are many theories about it. But if upon awakening you felt a sensation of discomfort and restlessness, or simply you are curious to know why this happens to you, stay with us until the end. In this video, thanks to a Zen story, you will not only understand why you wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning, but also what opportunity for personal and spiritual growth can hide behind this very curious fact. Are you ready to know the mysteries behind awakenings at this time? We assure you that they can reveal much more in terms of spirituality than you think. Now imagine yourself in an ancient Buddhist monastery in Tibet among the mountains. Here lives an elderly monk, Kiro, known by all for his wisdom and the precious teachings he constantly gave to his disciples and brothers. His lessons on awareness and compassion were among the most renowned, to the point that, to listen to him and learn, the disciples were willing to travel a long way to reach the monastery. One evening at dusk, with the sky colored red and gold, the monk was preparing to welcome all the people who had come to listen to him. The purpose of that meeting was to answer a question he had been asked several times. Why do many people wake up almost every night, apparently for no reason, between 3 and 5 in the morning? The objective was to understand why this doesn't happen to everyone, and whether this phenomenon can be linked to a precise meaning or whether it is just the result of randomness. Kiro began with his lesson. Dear disciples, today we will explore nocturnal awakenings and their connection with the tradition of Oriental medicine and Buddhist wisdom. In the field of Oriental medicine, it is not uncommon to think that nocturnal awakenings can be connected to the energy meridians that pass through our body and the influences these have on us. Kiro went further into the heart of the matter and began to explain how waking up at every single hour of the night could be associated with a particular organ or district of the body, giving us a clear signal. These various signals could then be seen as an energetic or emotional imbalance, and which therefore require attention and care. For example, waking up between 3 and 5 in the morning is associated with both the lungs and feelings such as sadness. This could therefore bring to light the unconscious need to face and heal deep emotional wounds, thus allowing our vital energy to flow freely and improve emotional balance. Those who listened to him continued to reflect on the words said by the master, trying to bring them into their own experience. Then the silence that had fallen in the monastery was interrupted by a question. Master, but how is it possible to interpret nocturnal awakenings according to the ancient teachings of Buddhist wisdom in order to use this new knowledge in our spiritual journey? The monk smiled. Those questions reminded him of himself as a young man. He immediately recognized the profound curiosity of his students and responded to what was asked of him with the calmness and wisdom that distinguished him. In Buddhism, every single day and every moment represents a unique opportunity to practice awareness and compassion that guide us on our path of spiritual research. Nocturnal awakenings, therefore, offer us an essential window to explore our emotional states and allow us to go and work on our spiritual well-being. At night, in fact, we do not have access to all the distractions that are commonly present during the day. After a moment of silence, Kiro began to tell several stories about the ancient Buddhist masters. They, through practices such as meditation and contemplation, had managed to transform awakenings into opportunities to better understand the human mind and soul. "Buddha has given us a great teaching," said the monk. "The moment of waking up at night can be seen as a stimulus to develop awareness and kindness towards ourselves and others. The moment in which we embrace our experiences and fill ourselves with motivation. This gives us an important push to proceed on our spiritual journey and inner peace." The monk also remembered that learning to connect with our most personal selves, even if it happens during an awakening, is something to be grateful for. Kiro continued, "Let us now look in more detail at the various areas of life affected by this phenomenon and how to better understand not only ourselves, but also others. It is not uncommon that sensations such as stress and anxiety can undermine our mental well-being. It is precisely these that can manifest themselves in awakenings that occur between 3 and 5 in the morning, and the cause is linked to a hormone, cortisol. This is a substance also known as a stress hormone in which physiologically presents itself with a peak in these hours. However, if the levels are already high due to daily worries, the possibility of waking up in the middle of the night increases. How to reduce this phenomenon? We can try our hand in meditation and deep breathing or physical practices such as mobility and muscle relaxation, all means that help reduce stress. The advice is to introduce meditation shortly before going to sleep. To get started, a few minutes of meditation are enough. As this becomes a habit, it will be easier to find the motivation to follow this new routine. In the historical tradition of Chinese medicine, the awakenings that occur at this particular time of the night are, as we have already said, associated with the lungs, or the sadness, in the field of Eastern psychology. This may be indicative of the presence of emotions or situations that we have not processed correctly or that we have repressed, such as, for example, mourning or loneliness. Facing and accepting them is fundamental for our emotional balance. If you find yourself in these words and have undergone experiences of this type, it is important that you commit to processing them and finding inner peace. The early hours of the morning are a privileged time for connecting with the divine. You enjoy tranquility and silence, and it is easier to let yourself be carried away by meditation and deep contemplation. It is not uncommon for many people to wake up at these times to indulge their deep need to connect with the divine. It thus becomes an opportunity to experience greater presence in the here and now, spiritual awareness, and give a boost to inner growth, a doorway to new intentions and realizations. Emotions, thoughts, and desires are brought to the surface, becoming, in effect, a moment to explore our mind and identify the changes and transformations necessary to live a life that for you deserves to be lived. Don't forget, however, that some types of nocturnal awakenings can be linked to the presence of physical disorders such as gastric reflux, sleep apnea, liver problems, or insomnia. Oriental medicine also suggests various remedies for these problems, but obviously we advise you to consult your doctor if necessary, so that he can give you the most suitable solutions for you. Kiro introduced, during his lesson, another fundamental aspect, The period from 3 to 5 in the morning is considered the best moment in which the unconscious can give us important messages through awakenings or dreams. This theory is not only supported by ancient Buddhist wisdom, but also by the analytical psychology proposed by Carl Gustav Jung, who sees these messages as symbolic and intuitive, and which can give us important information about our inner life, relationships, and challenges. We recommend keeping a dream diary and meditating before going to bed. Over time, they will prove to be fundamental for recognizing and reading these messages from the unconscious in the correct way. According to Eastern tradition, waking up at these times is also linked to the natural rhythms that the universe offers us. Especially the early hours of the morning are considered a time when you concentrate and your life energy flows more freely. Waking up during this period can indicate an alignment with these natural cycles and the need to adapt to them. This is a fundamental step towards improving health and well-being. Kiro continued, consistently practicing disciplines such as yoga, Tai Chi, or meditation can help you find harmony between the body, mind, and spirit with the rhythms of nature and the universe, so take into consideration the idea of including them in your routine. At that point, a question came, Master, but in practice, if we recurrently wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning, should we worry? The monk smiled and shared one of his precious teachings. My dears, experience these awakenings as an opportunity, a moment in which you can immerse yourself with serenity into the depths of your mind, spirit, and body. Always remember that, thanks to the great wisdom of the Eastern tradition, compassion and mental well-being achieved, you can learn to live and welcome these moments with gratitude. Every nocturnal awakening should be seen as a stimulus to have more and more awareness and knowledge of ourselves. Don't resist and don't ignore these moments, but understand the teaching they want to convey to you, because they will be fundamental to illuminate your growth path and spiritual journey. So, without fear, prepare yourself for a sleep that can be restful and deep. When you wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning, therefore, welcome this phenomenon as a chance to explore and connect with yourself and the universe in a deeper way. In a world where every encounter seems random, there is an invisible plan that intertwines souls. Have you ever wondered why people come into your life? There is a reason behind every look, every smile, every word shared. Every person who crosses your path brings with them a precious gift, a teaching that shapes your being. But what is the secret behind this dance of intertwined destinies? Through this Zen story, we will discover that each encounter is a piece of a larger puzzle, a tile in the map of our destiny. And we will learn to dance with gratitude for each person who enriches our journey. So, take a seat and let yourself be enveloped by the beauty and depth of this story. And stay until the end, because you will understand that no one is ever a coincidence in our life. Every meeting has a meaning, a reason, a gift to offer. And life itself is an opportunity to learn, grow, and love. Under a clear sky, veiled by a thin morning mist, the scent of cherry blossoms wafted through the air, permeating the temple garden with a sweet fragrance. In that oasis of peace, immersed in the quiet of the morning, the young hero approached the wise monk Fujio with his soul tormented by a question that burned like a silent fire. Master, why do some people enter our lives? Hero, with his penetrating gaze peering into Fujio's soul, reassures the young man in a calm and deep voice. Remember that no meeting is casual. Every person we meet on our path is like a seed planted by destiny in the garden of our life, a precious gift that brings with it a lesson and an opportunity for personal growth. Some seeds bloom like ephemeral flowers, coloring our existence with their fleeting beauty for a short time, leaving a memory as delicate as the scent of a spring breeze. And others sprout into mighty trees, offering shelter and support over time, becoming pillars of strength and wisdom on our journey. Remember that each of these seeds, therefore of these people, brings with it the promise of new growth, a sprout of hope that nourishes our soul. And remember that in the infinite dance of encounters that dot our lives, we can identify 3 main types of people: three figures who take on the role of unexpected masters in our journey of growth. The first are those we can define as masters. They, with their wisdom and their example, illuminate our path. They offer us precious teachings, encourage us to overcome our limits, and open up new horizons of knowledge. They can be teachers, mentors, spiritual guides, or simply enlightened people who cross our path for a short time, leaving an indelible mark on our soul. Their lessons can take different forms: wise advice at the right time, a story that opens our minds to new perspectives, a profound conversation that shakes us and makes us reflect, or a life example that inspires us to be better people. The masters help us to develop our awareness, to face challenges with courage and determination, to cultivate compassion and love for others, to live a more authentic and meaningful life. Then there are those who we can define as travel companions. They are those who share a part of our journey with us, offering support, friendship, and complicity. Together with them, we face challenges, celebrate victories, and learn from each other. They can be longtime friends, family members, colleagues, or people with whom we share common passions and interests. Their support manifests itself in different ways: a word of comfort when we feel discouraged, a smile that brightens up our day, concrete help when we need it, or even a sincere discussion that helps us grow. Travel companions help us to feel less alone and more connected to the world, to face difficulties with greater serenity, to share the joys and sorrows of life, to build deep and meaningful relationships. Then there are the mirrors, that is, those who reflect aspects of ourselves that we tend to ignore or deny. By meeting them, we are given the opportunity to get to know ourselves better, with our lights and our shadows. They can be people who irritate us, who challenge us, or who simply make us reflect on who we are and what we want from life. Their function is precious, even if sometimes uncomfortable. They make us face our fears and insecurities. They push us to confront our dark sides. They help us grow and evolve as people. Hero, thanks to the words of his mentor, understands that every meeting is a precious gift, an opportunity to learn and grow, and that we must gratefully welcome every person who enters our lives, because each of them has a role to play in our journey of evolution. And it will be time that makes us learn to recognize the wisdom hidden in every encounter and to dance with joy and gratitude in the great canvas of life. All of us, added the elderly and wise monk, need someone who gives us support and growth. These people push us to overcome limits and reach new levels of awareness, challenging us to become the best version of ourselves. Another thing we always need is renewal. For this reason, some of the people we meet bring a breath of freshness into our inner world, opening new horizons and infusing new lifeblood into our soul. And then, since life is not easy and often puts us to the test, we also need encouragement. Therefore, we meet people who, with their behavior, remind us of the true nature of our path. And in doing so, they strengthen our determination and give us the courage necessary to move forward and resist unexpected events, even the worst ones. Fugio, while the young hero listens to him very carefully, invites him to reflect. Even the people who hurt us, with their words or actions, can be our best teachers. Like sharp stones on the path of our existence, in fact, they teach us to grow and forge our inner strength, teaching us resilience and the ability to overcome adversity. Then there are those who, as we were saying, support us like the roots of a mighty tree do, offering comfort and security in times of storm. These people are a constant and reassuring presence that allows us to face challenges with courage and determination, giving us that emotional balance and inner peace that we so need. Hero, faced with these words of the wise master, remembers with gratitude the friend who supported him during a difficult period. A safe harbor in which to find refuge and comfort when the waves of life became too high and impetuous, an anchor capable of protecting and redefining the course. And what about those who illuminate our sky like fixed stars? Added the master, constant lights that guide us and accompany us on our journey. True friends, family members, soulmates with whom to share joys and sorrows, tears and smiles, secrets and hopes. These are the bonds that permeate the fabric of our existence, weaving our lives together in an intricate but beautiful pattern of mutual understanding and support. With them, we face the most difficult challenges and celebrate the most significant victories. They are the people who truly know us, who accept us for who we are and support us in times of need. Through the deep connections that are created with these, we discover the true meaning of sharing and mutual trust. They are the ones who make our lives richer and more meaningful, illuminating our path with their luminous presence. With a grateful smile, Hero reflects on the special souls who enrich his life like beacons in the dark night of the soul. Thanks to their presence, Hero finds the strength to face challenges and embrace the future with courage, aware that he is never alone. The elderly monk continues his lesson with words of wisdom. I remind you, my young man, that every encounter has an important meaning in your existence, a fragment of a single mosaic that represents your story. Know how to understand and appreciate every person who crosses your path, because each one contributes to the fabric of your life, weaving a unique and unrepeatable pattern. Hero, who over time has developed Fujio's wisdom, making it the compass of his inner journey. In this way, every meeting becomes a good opportunity for personal growth, an opportunity to explore new facets of oneself and the world. New challenges and many joys follow one another, teaching him that each person brings with him a new experience, a lesson that can be a life experience. And slowly, having become an elderly monk, Hero transmits to young people the same lesson learned from Fujio along his spiritual path. In the end, life, he repeats to his disciples every day, is a flow of significant encounters that enrich our existence, a dance of souls that intertwine and teach each other the true meaning of existence. But in theory, what does this Zen story teach us? That every meeting is a precious gift, an opportunity to grow and learn. We are therefore aware that life is a mosaic, a mix of many experiences, stories, lessons that contribute to our personal growth, and that they teach us to dance under the storms that we are forced to go through.